Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod, and this is Star Wars 7x7. So, it's official, October 7th is the big day. We are less than 2 months away from the premiere of Star Wars Resistance. It's about in line with what we expected. We were talking about early October as the potential premiere date, but now it has been made official thanks to an announcement by Lucasfilm and a first look trailer that is all of a minute long, but hey, every little bit is better than nothing at all. And here are our top 7 takeaways from that trailer and the post on Star Wars' website. First of all, we know where a majority of the action is taking place. It's going to be on an Outer Rim ocean planet, and specifically on a refueling rig there called the Colossus. Now, we don't know what the planet is specifically, the name of it, but based on the way they've done things with the animated series, there's every reason to believe that this is a brand new planet to which we're being introduced and not an old planet that we've seen before or one that we've necessarily heard about. It'd be very cool if they managed to figure out something from Legends that they could bring back into the canon, but at this point, chances are it's probably a brand new planet. Our second top takeaway is the fact that we know more about the gist of the plot. We knew that the main character, Kazuda Xiono, was going to be a spy for the Resistance and spying on the First Order, but now we know that he's being installed on this rig, on this refueling rig, and that he's supposed to be observing the people who are there and figuring out who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. And we know that he is working on a repair crew with an old pilot buddy of Poe Dameron's named Yeager, which of course has to be a nod to Chuck Yeager, the famous test pilot. And in the minute-long trailer, we get to see Yeager says that he is happy to have him on the repair crew, but that he wants nothing to do with the spy mission that Kazuda is on, or Kaz for short. Now, what do you think the chances are that he's going to be able to stay neutral about that? I have a feeling Yeager's going to get dragged into this thing one way or the other, but I don't think he has any choice in the matter. For now, though, he is apparently trying to maintain some sort of neutrality or remove from the whole thing, but I doubt that will last very long. Our third top takeaway is that it seems like racing is going to be a theme that we get to see a lot in Star Wars Resistance, or at least in this first season, because we get to see many shots of various speeders flying around over the surface of this Outer Rim ocean planet and flying through a series of rings, and we get to see people spectating and watching this race on video monitors. So there's going to be a lot of racing stuff that happens as well, and so the repair crews, I guess, are going to be busy dealing with all of these races happening. And then I'm sure because there are races, that introduces gambling and scoundrels and all sorts of other interesting factions of people, so that opens up a lot of opportunity for intrigue. Our fourth top takeaway is that we have 2 more character names, which is pretty awesome. Actually 3, technically, so let's count the droid, shall we? Let's not discriminate. So Tam and Neku are 2 of the new characters, and Tam appears to be the human one, and Neku, at a guess, is probably the alien character. And I can't identify the the species of the character just yet, so hopefully that information will be forthcoming soon enough. And a beat-up old droid named Bucket. So Bucket already seems like it's going to be the comic relief in this, and that of course wouldn't be too far off from the way Star Wars Rebels was, with Chopper being comic relief there too. The fifth top takeaway is that even though Kaz is being assigned to the repair crew, we actually see him flying around that yellow pseudo X-Wing looking speeder, and we still don't have any technical details on that just yet, so that is to be revealed, but he seems to be part of the races, or at least maybe training to do the races or something like that. He is dreaming about being an ace pilot, and this may give him an opportunity to do so, but he seems to be racing against some of the competition there, so where the divide is between him working as a member of Yeager's repair crew and when he's actually racing, well, that is still yet to be revealed. Our sixth top takeaway, if I can get that word out, sixth top takeaway is that we have some First Order activity shown briefly with Captain Phasma appearing and shooting a blaster, but we don't know what the First Order is up to just yet. And we also see Kaz and what appears to be BB-8 on the outside of the Colossus, and there are a couple of very interesting starfighters pursuing them and shooting laser cannons down at them, and they are in classic green, which suggests that they are bad guys in this particular case. Isn't that interesting that bad guys are shooting green, just like, good guy lightsabers are green, for example? But be that as it may. I don't know if those are new First Order ships or, maybe they're not First Order ships. Maybe there's something else entirely, but it would seem like they ought to be First Order related. And so it seems like it's a relatively peaceful situation, and Kaz, with his assignment being that he has to find out who's loyal to the Resistance and who's loyal to the First Order, well, maybe that's going to become a little bit more obvious once the First Order actually gets militarily involved at the Colossus, assuming that that action is happening on the Colossus. It seems like an easy to jump to conclusion, and it seems like that would create an additional bit of drama and help sort out the players a little bit. I'm sure that there's going to be some mystery about it, though, that's maintained until further along in the series. And our last top takeaway is that you may have thought that the introductory music and sound effects are somewhat familiar. Well, if you remember watching trailers for Solo: A Star Wars Story, then you probably heard some of that stuff in there as well. But there is also some new music in there too, and we don't yet know if that's courtesy of Kevin Kiner, but I think that's a pretty safe assumption as well. And that is it for our breakdown of the Star Wars Resistance trailer and news announcement, with the exception of one last little thing that I'll flag on the audio version of the podcast at sw7x7.com/iTunes or Spotify or SoundCloud or Overcast or wherever you like to listen to podcasts. But for now, it just remains for me to say thanks so much for watching, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.